let black people be. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and I really appreciate your time. I am going to be reacting to Monique's video that she posted a few days ago. Her PSA to black women who dare to wear bonnets outside their house and dare to be comfortable outside of their house. So I'm going to be reacting to that video right now. I am going to be pulling up her video. What I think is interesting is the fact that she is shaming black women for coming out in public with a bonnet on their heads, and yet she's quite literally making a video in a bathrobe. I mean, I know she's inside of her house, but it's like, if you're going to make the argument about, you know, respecting yourself and representing yourself the way that you should be representing yourself, then it's quite strange that you would then make this PSA while wearing a bathrobe. I don't know. That's a little wild to me, but let's watch.
Hey, my sweet babies.
Hey, my sweet babies.
It took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say because I want to make sure I'm not saying it in judgment. And I want to make sure I'm saying it from a place of love.
Too late. This is definitely a judgmental elder or a baby boomer judgmental video along the lines of pull up your pants and, you know, comb your hair, get your hair cut, you know, get a government job. This is along the same lines as that. So too late, Monique.
Y'all, some of y'all have given me the title of auntie, and I'm honored that y'all do that, right? But there are times where auntie gotta talk to her babies and say some real shit. So, yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta because I'm in Jackson, Mississippi now at Chuckles Comedy Club, right? And we got 3 shows tonight. We got a matinee at 5:30, then we got 7, then we got 10. Right? And I'm excited. I always love going to the stage. So when we got to the airport yesterday, I was excited. Like, all right, baby, let's go get him in Jackson, Mississippi. And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count, and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and these slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step up?
Okay. So the fact that Monique is conflating having pride for yourself with leaving the house in a more presentable manner is, I think, very problematic, because I think a lot of the things that had to do with her generation is that, you know, while you can't change the way society looks at you, basically you cannot change or remove racism, you know, and things will still happen, you know, without your control, you know, and you will still face adversity and all these other things, but at least you can look good, at least you can feel good, at least you can do all of these things, right? And I think the problem with Monique's generation is that a lot of our grandparents and parents, to a degree, believe that, you know, while you can't change racism entirely or stop it from happening entirely, you can still dress nice. And you can still look like you have pride in yourself based off of the way that you're dressed. And I completely understand this. I understand this mindset, and I get that this mindset has helped a lot of our grandparents and parents survive the mental, you know, weight of dealing with racism and adversity and, you know, being rejected based off of your appearance. However, the reality is dressing nicely, having your hair cut, you know, having your hair pressed out and straight has never saved anyone from from experiencing racism, from experiencing adversity and other forms of this racially based discrimination. It's never saved any of us from that. I think that when you start conflating how someone feels about their entire person with the way they're currently dressed at the airport at 8 o'clock in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning or whenever they're there, is really, really, I think it's pretty presumptuous and quite negative, really, and unnecessary, because again, how a Black person chooses to dress outside of their house and how they choose to try to bring some of that comfortability outside of their home, you know, as they're moving around the world. And particularly, we're talking about people who are getting ready to board a plane. And if you've ever boarded a plane, if you know what it's like being at the airport, especially if you're there early in the morning, you want to be in comfortable clothing. Like, that's how you want to be dressed. And for some Black people, they're going to have their bonnet on, and they're going to have their do-rag on, they're going to have on pajamas, they're going to have on the fluffy Ugg slippers that I think are hideous, but you know, a lot of people are doing it, and that's perfectly fine. Like, it's okay if they want to come out their house like that. So we can definitely argue on whether or not it looks good, but who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. And I think that this idea that we as Black people have to always be dressed to nines when we leave the house is rooted in anti-Blackness and internalized racism, because it's basically saying like, hey, you know, it's along the lines of the thinking of, we have to work harder, we can't do what white people do, because you know, it's more on us, it's more expected of us, we have to and I just think that that's very, very problematic, and that's definitely not something I'm going to teach my children, because white people come out their house all kinds of ways. And the reason why I'm striking the comparison is because this whole, you know, idea of respectability politics is based off of matching up to a white supremacist standard of behavior, and of, you know, making sure that everything matches whatever white people say, or should I say set as the bar of, you know, ways to be accepted in American society. So that's why I'm using that comparison. So as I said, a lot of times white people come out of their house with their greasy roots, with their hair in a top knot, and sweatpants and yoga pants and all of these things that, you know, would be considered not dressed up, you know, not looking presentable, but because they're white, and in a lot of ways, white people have control over their narratives, or more control, should I say. They are able to establish certain things that are culturally acceptable, or maybe not acceptable, but basically common, culturally common for them. They just go ahead and make it a fashion trend. They just go ahead and make it, you know, it is what it is. It's cool. We're still, you know, I'm still a human being. I'm still everything that I am, regardless of what I have on in this moment. And Black Americans in particular are not able to do that. We police ourselves and try to shame ourselves to match these standards that are just, you know, really anti-Black and racist, and they don't actually mean anything. Like, let Black people be, like, let Black people enjoy their lives, and that includes wearing bonnets in public. That includes wearing do-rags in public. That includes all the things that are culturally common to us. Because again, we have to realize that the reason why oftentimes you see Black women in public wearing bonnets is because that's what's culturally common. If I see a Black woman wearing a bonnet, I automatically know that it's one of 3 or 4 things. And I'm not over here attaching all of these ideas about how she feels about herself based off of what she's wearing, because I again, when I see a bonnet, I understand what that represents. I know what that means. And to a degree, I'm sure a lot of non-Black people know what it represents as well, because one of the things that social media has done is allow for other cultures and ethnicities to have insight on cultures and ethnicities that they aren't particularly a part of. So white people know what it means when we have a bonnet on. They understand that. So I think the only people that have a problem here, really, other than racist white people who have a problem with black people existing in general, are those black people like Monique that are concerned about how one black woman represents her, or how a group of black women represent her. And that's fine if you want to be concerned about those things, but I don't really understand why it's necessary to say something like this out loud. And then in the video, she's gonna go on to say that if she catches black women in public with with bonnets and pajamas on, she's gonna stop them and tap them. And I'm just like, tap them and do what? Like, it's just like, what I find so crazy about Monique's generation, like our parent generation, our grandparent generation, is why they find it so interesting and so necessary to pass on these anti-black, very insignificant ideas and these codes of conduct. But they couldn't pass on businesses to us. They couldn't pass on, you know, houses and generational wealth and, you know, important life skills and wisdom concerning long-term relationships. You know, it's like y'all have all this information that isn't useful that you want to pass on to us, but the things that we needed to know about financial literacy and credit and, you know, all these things that we really would have needed to, you know, to help us make, or should I say not make the same mistakes that, you know, our parents did, they don't have the information to give us. So I just think that's real funny, but let's continue.
Let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home. Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created, so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough shit out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. So
that's if you care. That's if you're someone who is a busybody and cares about other people's business like that. Okay.
My sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all asses too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on, and you got slippers on, and you looking like, what the fuck? I'm Nique gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Show you what you deserve. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey, queen, hey, queen, hey, queen, well, can we start putting it into action?
Yeah. That's pretty much the gist of her video. If you would like to see the full video, you can obviously type it up on YouTube and find it. But yeah, I mean, I get what she's saying. I'm sure that Monique means well. In her mind, at least, I'm sure she thinks what she's saying in this video is necessary and relevant. However, I don't think that it is. And, you know, no disrespect to her. I understand in some ways she, you know, represents an elder. But I just, like I said, I don't understand why this information is necessary or why it's important. In light of all the other things that we have going on, in light of all the other things that would be more important and more worthy to speak about. I get that in her mind, she probably felt like she was being positive and speaking light into young folks. But in the reality, it's like I said, it comes off as very much pull up your pants, you know, take the braids out your head, you know, perm your hair, straighten your hair, get a government job. Like it comes off like that. And we've heard that messaging many times, and it hasn't helped anyone. So I mean, for me, it's just like, okay, Monique, All right. But like I said, leave black folks alone. Leave black people alone. Allow for them to move in the world in a way that is comfortable for them. And even if it is not what you personally would wear or what you personally would prefer, that's okay, because black people are not a monolith. We all don't have to dress alike. We all don't have to hold the same standards. I mean, we really don't. Like, we don't have to be perfect. Like, I just don't understand why black people want other black people to be perfect in order to be respected and valid. Um, we can all exist wherever we are in life, and if you focus on you and do the best that you can for yourself at the time, if you're not hurting anyone, that's great for you. Lastly, I wanted to just point out, I came across this article on Vogue where they're actually sharing to, of course, their white audience, how to style a bandana or headscarf inspired by Versace and Dior. And as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see it. Well, I'll put it on the screen. It features all these different haute couture scarves and runway models. There is Bella. No, is that Bella? No, that's Bella. Bella Hadid wearing different types of scarf. This, looks like something that you put on your head when you go to sleep. But it's just basically explaining look. It's basically explaining the trend of headscarves and how to wear them and which ways to wear them. And I just, like I said, like, that's really hilarious to me, because like I said, a lot of times when white people want to do something and they want to disguise it as innovative and new, they'll just make it high fashion. Whereas our elders will get online and make a video like, oh, hey, baby. Oh, baby. Have pride in yourself. Like, those are my thoughts on Monique's video, as well as her opinions. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you are feeling what I'm saying, please comment below. If I missed anything, or if there's anything you would like to continue to discuss, please comment below as well. Don't forget to give my video a thumbs up, as well as a share if you think someone else needs to hear what I'm saying, or I would just greatly appreciate it. But yes, thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.